Andrew Benlin. That's probably the fourth or fifth time in my lifetime I've ever said that name. You know, my entire life, I've always called you Witch. It was honestly just a stupid nickname I gave to him when I was in 7th grade, and everybody always asks about like the crazy story behind it, and there really isn't one. But you know, the funny things about nicknames is, you know, most of them last like about a month. Good ones last maybe a year, and we've been calling you Witch for about 15 years now. And me and Witch, we've been really fortunate in our lives to surround ourselves with some really, really good friends. You know, back when we were 14 and 15 years old, high school days, everything. And Witch was always the first to do a lot of things. He was the first one to turn 16. So you gotta imagine 5 or 6 guys piling into this little Honda Civic every weekend. He was the first one to grow facial hair. That was also very helpful in high school when we wanted to purchase alcohol. A lot of good parties happened because of this guy in high school. You know, you were the first one to experience college. You were the first one of us to turn 21, and now those 5 or 6 guys that are pounding the Witchmobile, you're the first one of us now to get married. And you know, growing up, through all your friendships, especially your closest friends, you come to a lot of situations when you say to one another, hey, thanks for doing that. You know, I appreciate it. I owe you one. Or, hey, you know, thanks for being there for me. I owe you one. I owe this kid here about $10,000. There was one particular situation. I was living in Tampa, Florida, and needed to drive back. I had gotten a new job in Nebraska, and I needed to move back home. And obviously, I had my car in Florida and needed to drive it back home. And my parents didn't want me to drive by myself. Obviously, you know, traveling 1,500 miles by yourself isn't probably the smartest thing to do, but my parents were kind of getting too old, and you know, they didn't want to do it. Sorry, Mom and Dad.
They look great.
But this kid, he flew all the way down to Florida just to drive back in a car with me for 26 hours. That meant so much to me, man. You know, not a lot of friends do that for somebody. You know, only the best kind. And that's what you are. You're my best friend. And you're the type of best friend I hope every single person in this room right now has one of. I've never told anybody this before, actually. But when we were driving back, we pulled over at some random gas station when we needed gas in like Tennessee. And me and Witch had been switching, driving back and forth. And as we pulled up to the gas pump, I get out of the car, I started stretching, like not really paying attention to what was going on around me. And I reached in to like get my wallet and go around to pump my own gas. And this guy was already out of the car, pumping my own gas, paying for it. I mean, he was already doing me one of the biggest favors anyone's ever done for me in my life. And then he gets out of a car and actually puts $70 worth of my gas and fills it all the way up and pays for it. You know, who does that? He's picked me up before at 4 in the morning when he's had to work at 8 in the morning. And sorry, just need to pause real quick. But you know, when he gets back from this trip from Florida, driving back with me, you know, he gets home and his parents ask, "Hey, how was the trip?" You know, the last thing he says to him is, "Oh, you know, it was really long. I actually pulled over and like paid for Justin's gas. We're in Tennessee." You know, when he comes into work the next day, the last thing he ever says is when his boss asks, "Hey, how are you doing, Andy?" I'm actually really tired. I had to go pick up my drunk friend at 4 in the morning so he could get a safe ride home. You know, he doesn't say that. He just goes about his day, and you know, that's the type of like good person he is. And I know I'm never gonna ever pay you back for all the things you've ever done for me and all the things you've still yet to do for me, but I'm standing here up here right now, and I'm just telling you how much I appreciate you. You're truly like the absolute definition of a best friend, and you're by far one of the most important people to me in my life, and everything you do for me, none of it ever goes unnoticed. And Kayli, I know I don't have to tell you like how lucky you are to find somebody like this. I couldn't have asked for a better person to find for like my best friend, and I mean, are you ever not smiling? You are just always so happy, and whenever you're around us, the thing about you though is you care so much about like making sure everyone around you is happy. And you've already put up with a bunch of our shenanigans. And I know that's very tough to do. And you've handled it well, and it's kind of crazy that you can put up with it. Well, one last thing I'd like to say, this happened about 3 weeks ago. We were tailgating at the College World Series. We were in some random parking lot. There was nobody in it except for this one motorhome, one of Ross's friends. And, you know, Annie and Kayli, it had been getting late and they needed to go home. And we were all just tailgating, having some beers, and there's just a huge parking lot, nobody in it, just this one random motorhome. And, you know, they said their goodbyes and they had to walk back to their car. And you just got to picture real quick an empty parking lot, this huge empty parking lot. And they were just walking away from us. Nobody around them, just this dead parking lot, and they were holding hands like the entire way, walking back to their car. And I turned to my buddy Mark Lewis. Mark, where you at? I turned to my buddy Mark Lewis and I just go, God, like those two are just totally meant to be together. And you know, it was like a perfect situation. Like just watching you guys just walk away and just knowing how happy you were. And everyone here in this room agrees with me that you guys were just meant to be together, because if they weren't, like, nobody would be here right now. If they disagreed with that. But at this time, I just like everyone real quick to just stand up, grab whatever you got in your glass, whether it's water, whether it's vodka, whatever it's beer, doesn't matter what's in your hands. I just want to do one last final toast before we get the dance moves going. I just want to toast to Annie and Kayli, two great people, a great couple, and all of us here wish the best for both of you down the road that lies ahead. Thanks, guys.